Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about a really cool coin from the United States, the 2023 Bessie Coleman quarter. A lot of people have been talking about this coin, and some even think it might be worth thousands of dollars. But is that true? Can one of these quarters really be worth $10,000? Well, let's find out together. So first, who is Bessie Coleman? She was a very important woman in history. Bessie was the first African-American woman, and the first Native American, to earn a pilot's license. That means she was the first woman of color who could fly an airplane, and she did this in the early 1920s, when people of color, especially women, were not given many opportunities. In fact, no flight schools in the United States would allow her to train just because of her race and gender. But Bessie didn't give up. She traveled all the way to France to become a pilot. When she came back to the U.S., she flew in air shows and inspired many young people, especially women and people of color, to follow their dreams. To honor Bessie Coleman and other important women, the U.S. Mint started something called the American Women Quarters Program. It began in 2022, and in 2023, Bessie Coleman was chosen to be featured on one of the quarters. These quarters were made for everyday use, but many coin collectors became interested in them because of Bessie's powerful story and the coin's special design. Now, let's talk about the coin itself. The front side of the coin, called the obverse, still shows George Washington like most quarters do, but this time it's based on an old design made by a woman artist named Laura Garden Fraser. The back of the coin, which is called the reverse, shows a picture of Bessie Coleman wearing her pilot outfit. Behind her, you can see a small airplane flying in the sky. It's a very bold and strong image that honors her love for flying and her role as a pioneer. The 2023 Bessie Coleman quarters were made at a few different mints, but the one with the D mint mark was made in Denver. That's why it's called the 2023 Bessie Coleman quarter. Most of these coins were made with the same metal used in modern quarters, mostly copper, with a little bit of nickel. They weigh about 5.67 grams, and they're the same size as regular quarters. Now let's talk about value, because that's what many people are wondering. Can this quarter be worth a lot of money? The truth is, most of these coins are only worth their face value, which is 25 cents. If the coin is used, scratched, or has been in someone's pocket or purse for a while, it's probably not worth more than that. However, if the coin is brand new, shiny, and in perfect condition, what collectors call mint state, then it could be worth a little more. For example, if your 2023 quarter is in mint condition and has a grade like MS65 or MS66, it might be worth around $10 to $30, depending on how perfect it is. But here's where things get more interesting. Some of these coins have errors, and those error coins can be worth more money. Error coins are coins that were made with mistakes at the mint. These mistakes can happen for many reasons, like a damaged die, misalignment during the strike, or doubled letters or images. One of the known errors for the Bessie Coleman quarter is a doubling of the designer's initials, EC, which are on the back of the coin. On some coins, these initials appear twice or have a shadow, which is called a double die. This kind of error can make the coin worth more. Some people have sold these for $30, $50, or even more, depending on how strong and clear the doubling is. Another type of error is something called a die chip or a die crack. A die chip looks like a small bump or blob of extra metal on the coin, often on places like the plane or Bessie's face. A die crack looks like a thin raised line. These happen when the tool that makes the coin gets damaged or starts to wear out. These kinds of errors are more common and usually add only a few dollars to the value, maybe $5 or $10 at most. There's also a fun error where the words, "In God We Trust," look like they say, "In God We Trust," because the letter G is weak or broken. That kind of error is rare and can sell for a lot more. Some people have listed them for hundreds of dollars, but they have to be real, clear, and verified. One more type of error to look for is an off-center strike. That's when the design on the coin is not centered correctly. Maybe part of the date is missing, or the rim is really wide on one side and very thin on the other. These off-center coins can be worth more, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. If the coin is really far off-center and in good shape, it could be worth $50 or more, sometimes even higher. Now, let's talk about the rumor that some of these coins are worth $10,000. You might have seen posts online or videos claiming that a certain Bessie Coleman quarter is worth $10,000. But as of now, there is no official record of any 2023 Bessie Coleman coin selling for that much. Those kinds of prices usually happen only if a coin is extremely rare, in a very high grade like MS-70, and maybe has a unique or major error. That's not common at all. Most coins like these, even with errors, are worth somewhere between a few dollars and maybe a couple $100s for the really special ones. So while it's unlikely that your coin is worth $10,000, it still might be worth checking if you find something unusual. If you want to know if your coin is valuable, look closely at it with a magnifying glass or take clear photos. Look for anything strange, like double letters, cracks, blobs, or off-center designs. If you see something that looks like an error, you can look it up online or ask a coin expert for help. You can also send your coin to be graded by a professional company like PCGS or NGC if you think it's really rare. In the end, the Bessie Coleman quarter is a beautiful and meaningful coin that honors a woman who made history. Most of them are not worth a fortune, but they're still great to collect, especially if you can find one in perfect condition or with a cool error. And even if your coin isn't super valuable, it's still a piece of history you can hold in your hand. So the next time you get change back from the store, keep an eye out. You never know what kind of treasures might be hiding in your pocket. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed learning about this coin, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Keep collecting, stay curious, and happy hunting.